Hello everyone, welcome to VA Fashion's YouTube channel. My name is Eunice. Thank you for clicking on this video. If this is your first time on my channel, please hit on the subscribe button to subscribe and also put on your notification bell so you get notified once I post a new video. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. I really appreciate. In this video, we're going to be learning how to make this beautiful stylish gown. This gown is very beautiful and very easy to make. I hope this is what you would like to learn. Kindly stay tuned while we get right into the tutorial. Thank you. These are the materials I'll be using to achieve this style. I have 1.5 yard of this crepe fabric, and then I have this pattern fabric. It's a leftover fabric I'll be using to combine it, and then this is my lining. I also have this belt head we'll be using to create that circle shape at the side where we're going to be sewing our pattern fabric on. So to get started, I'll be folding my lining. I'll be drafting directly on my lining. So I've folded my fabric. I'll be drafting for both front and back at the same time. So you can see the fabric I have up is my front piece, and this one down will serve as the back piece. So here I have my zip allowance. You can see that the fabric at the back is wider by 1.5 inches. So this will serve as my zip allowance. So having marked out my zip allowance, so here now is our center front and of course the center back. All our measurements will start from here. So next I'm going to draw my starting line, which is now the shoulder line. On this starting line, I'm going to mark 3 inches, and then I'll mark ½ inch of my client's shoulder measurement, which is 8 inches here. I'll come down by 1 inch to achieve my shoulder slant. So here we have our shoulder slant. So next I'm just going to re-enter our shoulder measurement plus ½ inch for joining the sleeve. So that will bring me to 8.5. So of course I will extend the shoulder slant to this point. So next I'm going to come down by her armhole measurement. I'll divide her bust by 6 plus 1.5. That will give me her armhole measurement. And in this case, that is 8 inches. So from the shoulder slant, I'm coming down by 8 inches. So here now, on this chest line, which is the armhole line, I'm going to reconfirm my 8.5 inches. That's which is what I have from here to here. I'll reconfirm it here to achieve a straight line. Then I'll go ahead and connect it just like you can see me doing. So now we have our chest line. I've just come to the midpoint of this armhole line now by folding my tape into 2. That's 4. I have 8 inches here, so the midpoint is 4. So at this midpoint, first I'll go in by ½ inch. And then I'll connect it back to the shoulder tip like this. And then I'll curve it here. So before I curve it, I'm going to enter quarter of her bust measurement. And quarter of her bust measurement is 9 3/4. So now I'll curve the shape. So this is the back armhole. So to draw the front armhole, same at this midpoint, I'll go in by 3/4 inch. Of course, we know that the front is smaller than the back. So at this midpoint, I went in by 3/4 inch. I'll bring it back to the shoulder tip like this. And then I'll place my armhole curve and curve it to this bust measurement also. So here now we have our back armhole and we have the front armhole. So I can just label this F and this B. So next I'll come down by the waistline. That's our vertical measurement now. And our half length here is 17 inches. Then also I'll bring down the hip line. Our hip line is 25 inches. So next I'll come down by the full length, which is 45 inches. I won't be adding hemming allowance to this because this is my lining. My lining is supposed to be 2 inches shorter than the main fabric. So when we place on our main fabric, I'll make it 2 inches longer. That will be 47, so that it can neatly turn. So I'm stopping exactly at my 45 inches. So I'll just go ahead and straighten my lines. Okay, so we already have our chest line here. So you can just roll it this way. And then next I'll come down by the bust line, and her shoulder, from shoulder to bust point, is 11 inches. So here is our 11 inches here. Okay, so now enter her horizontal measurement. So quarter of her bust measurement is 9 3/4 plus 2 inches for my sewing allowance. So, and that's exactly what I'll be bringing to the chest line also. I already have quarter of the bust measurement here. So I'll add 2 inches for sewing allowance. And then waist measurement. Our waist divided by 4 is 8.5. So plus 2 inches for my sewing allowance, and then I'll be adding 1 inch for that. I won't be sewing that on the front piece because of that, because of the pattern. I'll be sewing on top of one side of the bust, but this is for the back. So when we're done, we'll trim out the dart for the front. So here now enter quarter of our hip measurement, and quarter of our hip measurement is 10 3/4 plus my 2 inches. And then on the hem line here, whatever I have here on the hip line, I'll be subtracting 1.5 from it. So now I have 12 3/4 here. I'll subtract 1.5 from it. That will give me 11 1/4. So I'll go ahead and connect my markings. Okay, so having done this, now here's our center back. Can see this our back. So to alter the back, to eliminate zipper bulge, can see that I have my zip allowance of 1.5 inches here. At this waistline, which is our half length, I'm going to be taking away ½ inch from this point. So I'll take away ½ inch from the waistline here. Then I'll use my straight ruler to connect it all the way to the neckline like this. And then I'll come up by 1 inch from the hip line and finish it up like this. So this is to eliminate zipper bulge. I don't want the gown to bulge at the back. So once I've done that, the next thing now I want to do is at the hem here, to give it that nice fit at the back. At the hem here, you can see that I also have 1.5 inches to give the butt that lift at the back. I'll be taking away 1 inch from here, and then I'll use my straight ruler to connect it. Remember that this is her knee line, so that is why I'm taking it away right on the knee line here. Took away 1 inch, and I'm connecting it back to the hip line. So can you see that the back is not straight? I'll be taking away my zipper bulge, and also I'm trying to create the bum illusion by removing 1 inch. So that 1 inch I removed from here, I'm going to come back here and replace it. If you don't replace it, you're going to have a shortage. This is just to give us that nice fit at the back. So you can see I have returned the 1 inch here. So I'm going to connect it now to the hip line. So all this alteration is just for the back. For the front, we're still going to maintain what we have here. So this line now is for my back. Of course, this line too is for the back. And the inner line is for the front. So now we'll come to the neck area. I'm going to mark a neck width of 3 inches, a neck depth of 1.5 for the back. So I'll bring in my curve this way. and connect it. So can you see that the neckline extends all the way to the zip allowance? So now for the neck depth of the front, I'm using same neck width of 3 inches. So the neck depth of the front, I'll be making it 4 inches. So neck width of 3 inches, neck depth of 4 inches. So I'm just going to use my curve to draw the neckline like this. So can you see? So this is our front neckline and this is our back neckline. So we're going to go ahead and cut it out. So we'll be cutting on the back. The back is bigger than the front, so everything for the back first, we're going to cut it out before we go ahead and cut for the front. So this is me taking away my zipper bulge. So I'll cut the back armhole first. So can you see I'm cutting on the back, the back line first. See? So now our back piece is ready. So we can now shift the back aside and then we'll go ahead and cut the front properly. So first I'm going to cut the front neckline. Next, the front armhole. Okay, so I haven't done that. So remember I said I won't be sewing that on the front because I'm going to be having that my patterned fabric on one side in front. So I want to ignore that for the front, but I already have my dart at the back. This outfit will have that perfect shape. I want the front to be dartless. So the 1 inch I added for my dart. To remove it, I'm going to use my ruler. You can see I've marked 1 inch from here. And then I'll connect it to the bust line like this. You see? And then I'll also finish it up to this point. This is the shape I would have had after sewing my dart. So you can see this is me just removing my dart by the side. I want this gown, the front part of this gown, to be dartless. I hope we understand. So you can see. So this is. So after taking out our dart, I'll also trim out this side. Remember that this is where our front measurement ends. So all I need to do is to come in with my scissors also and cut out this part. This is the 1 inch that we added, that we brought to this side for the back because of the 1 inch we took away from the zip allowance. So let me place it this way so that we can see. So can you see? So can you see? So my 1.5 inches has appeared back on this side. So can you now see the difference between the front and the back? Can you see that this part is inward? So now we're just going to go ahead and draw our darts for the back. So here is our chest line. You can see that this is our chest line. So I'm just going to transfer my marking on the back. Here is the waistline. And then here also is our hip line. So I want to transfer my marking so that I know where my dart is going to be. I hope we understand. So here is our chest line here. So now I'll bring in my ruler and straighten out this line. So obviously this is our chest line, this is our waistline, and this is our hip line. So to draw the dart for the back, I'm going to measure from the center back here. Can you see? This is our center back here. So from the center back here, I'm going to enter half of her nipple to nipple, which is 4 inches. Her nipple to nipple is 8, so half of it is 4 inches. So of course this is one side of the back. So this is my 4 inches. I'll still bring that same 4 inches to the chest line. I'll bring the same 4 inches to the hip line. So I'm going to straighten it. Well, I'm going to connect it with a straight line. So having done that, I'm going to take ½ inch on this side, ½ inch on this side. Remember, I added 1 inch for my dart. So ½ inch on both sides, that will give me my 1 inch. So next, on this chest line, I'll come down by 1 inch or half of an inch. I'm going to be doing ½ inch. And then on the hip line, I will go up by 2 inches. Then I'll go ahead and connect my dart like this. So can you see? I now have my back dart. So of course you can see that by the time we sew our dart, can you see the shape that we're going to have? So it's going to tighten this back to give us that shape that we have established in front. I hope we understand. So this is it now. So I'm going to just use my tracing wheel and transfer the dart to this other side. So exactly what I've done here is what I'll be doing on the other side. Then I'll place this fabric, I'll place my lining on the main fabric and cut out the main fabric and show us the next thing to do. So I've gone ahead to cut my main fabric and I made it 2 inches longer, so you can see. So you can see where my lining is going to stop. So I'm going to just notch this point here, notch this point here. So this for my back, and I've also marked my darts. You can see what we have here. And here also I have my front. I also made it 2 inches longer. And then I've gone ahead to cut out my basic sleeve. So you can see this is my basic sleeve. I have 2 of them. And I also went ahead to cut the fabric I'll be using that I'll be attaching to the hem of the sleeve, just like we saw on the thumbnail. So I have 2 of them I'll be attaching, and I cut this fabric on fold. So it is 3 inches long. So by the time I stitch them together, I'll have 2.5 inches. So now I'm going to bring in this fabric so that we can cut the pieces we'll be placing in front of our gown. So first, let me use my lining. To cut the facing, I'll be placing in front of our gown. That's like a bias shape. So you can see I've folded my fabric and then I'm placing the front neckline like this. So I'm using my lining to do this. It's just the same thing. Remember, the neck width are both the same. So I'm just going to trace out this neckline like this. So you see, so I'm going to go ahead and create the shape. This is just going to be like a bias tape, just round the neck a little. So this is what I'm doing now. I'm going to be making it 2.5 inches wide, so that by the time I use ½ inch to turn the neckline, ½ inch to sew the down part, I'll be left with 1.5 inches. So here is my 2.5 inches. So you can see I have my 2.5 inches. So I'm just going to trim here a little so that I can have that 2.5 inches. So here we are. I'll be using this on the neckline of the outfit. So now I have my front piece. This is the main fabric. And then this is what I'll be using for the facing here. Can you see? So I want to achieve this. So next I'm going to be cutting that strip that will run from the shoulder here down to the waistline, and then the other one will run all the way down to the hemline here. So I'm just going to shift away my fabric so that I can show us that. So remember I said I'll be using this belt, this belt head. So from shoulder to waistline, I'm going to measure it. From shoulder to her waistline is 17 inches. So here is our waistline, and I'm marking on the right side of my fabric. So here's our center front. Here you can see my crease line. So from this point, I'm going to mark her nipple to nipple measurement, half of her nipple to nipple measurement, which is 4 inches. So the first strip that is going to be up here will be 17 inches long. Can you see that? And then that 17 will be twice the length, because this will have to go into this belt like this. So let's say this is my 17 inches here. Let me stop it on 17 inches here. This is my 17 inches here. I'll carry the fabric, that's I'll make it double so that it can go back to the shoulder line like this. So what this means is that I'm going to be cutting 34 inches long. So I'm going to be adding half inch so that I can go into the shoulder. That will be for my sewing allowance. I hope we understand. Can you see that? So then the next one now that I'll be cutting, which is going to still be down here now, I'll need the measurement from this point, that's from here down to the hemline also. So, and from this point to the hemline I have 30 inches. So just the same way I folded my tape to show us that. So that means I'm going to be making that fabric 60 inches in length so that it can fold and go all the way down. So I'm going to do that and show us. So I've cut my fabric, and here I have, let's see, let's measure it. I have 3¼ inch on fold. I made all of them 3¼ inch on fold. So here is the 60 inches. This is the one that will go all the way from this point down to the hemline like this. And these ones are the two pieces that will be fixing this way. Can you see? I'll be fixing this way. This one will come this way, and this other one too will come this way. So, and then I also have this that is 17 inches in two places, that's 34 inches, that will be going up this way. So now this is what I'll do. I'll take this to my sewing machine. I'll place it right side facing right side and stitch it down. So I'll do that for all four of them, press it and show us the next thing to do. So after stitching my pieces, you can see I've ironed it and I've turned it to the right side. I made sure to bring the joining, that's where I joined them together, to the center. This is to neatly cover it so that it's laying on the fabric. You don't want to be seeing the part we joined together. This is what I mean. Can you see where I joined them together? So that's the part I brought to the center here. So next I'll bring in my belt, the belt head. This is iron. I had decided to use this iron so that it won't break when they're washing it, because I'll be top stitching this. So you want to use something very strong. So first I'm going to insert my strip this way, making sure that the joining is on the wrong side, that is facing down, so that you don't see. That's not the first side that will face up. So this is what I'm doing now. Can you see? So I'll equalize them at this point here. So can you see? So this is where you see what we have here. So I'll bring in my pin and pin it. So you want to make sure that you try to place it straight like this. So I'll use my office pins to pin it down. So can you see? I've pinned it down. So next I will bring in this one also, this side. This is the longer one. So I'm going to also insert it this way. I'll take it all the way to the shoulder line like this. Can you see? So I have a little excess here. I can always just trim out my excess. Take note that it's going to the neckline. Can you see how it just overlaps? Can you see that it's aligning here with the neckline? That I'm placing it here and it's just at the tip of the neckline. So I'll also bring in my pins and pin it down also. You see, I've pinned them down. So now I'll bring in this piece like this also. So for this piece, you can see that this one, can see it's getting to the shoulder. So this will be sewn into the shoulder seam. And this one will also be sewn to the hem here. So for this part, this is what I'll be doing. I'm going to stitch them together and weave this side. So by the time I weave it and stitch that side together, I will now be able to neatly hide it like this. Can you see? So that I can neatly hide it like this. Then this is what you'll be seeing here. So for this part, I'll be doing exactly the same thing. I'm going to also insert it this way. And then also stitch them together. Once I do that, I'll also make sure to hide my stitch so that it's down. And then we'll have something like this. So now I'll take this to my sewing machine and stitch it down. So you want to make sure that when you are stitching, the one under, you completely conceal it under. So you can use hemming gum if this is not very easy for you. Please use hemming gum to gum it down so that your fabric will not be shifting here and there, but I'll be able to manage this. So I'm going to go and do that. I'll make sure that what I have under, you never see it. I'll let the one on top will neatly cover the one under. And like I said, I'm going to be stitching this together, weave it and come back and show us. Of course, this is iron that I have here. This belt is iron. I won't be able to sew on the iron, so all I'll need to do is to sew very close from here all the way to this point, then this way too, very close too from here all the way to this point, also this way. I'll do the same thing here. So those places around the belt, I'll be tacking it down. Take note that I'm doing this just on my main fabric. So by the time we're done, I'm going to use my lining to turn everything so you won't see my stitches anywhere. So for this part, I'm going to be creating a curve, because from the picture I noticed that there's a bit of a curve around here. So I will try to create a curve like this. Can you see? I'm just going to make this a little curvy around here so that it looks like what is in the thumbnail. Can you see the shape that is here? So I'm just going to stitch it with a curve like this, and then this place will now go down straight. So I'll go and do that and come back and show us. So can you see? So this is what we have after stitching my strips down. Yeah, everything is sitting all nice, and you can see it giving that gathering effect around here. You can see how everything is. So here is what it looks like on the wrong side. Can you see how neat it is? Not gathering, everything is just all relaxed. So like I said, if you don't want this place to show, you can use your needle and thread. Just tack this place down, tack this place down, tack this place down. Remember that we have our iron belt head inside. So if you tack it down, you can relax. But I'm not going to be doing that. As it is right now, it will not show. Everything is sitting well. Nobody is going to go and start opening it. Can you see that as it is here, you can't see the belt head. So it's neatly covered. You see? So I won't be tacking mine down. So the next thing I want to do now is to bring in the front facing. Remember, I'll be sewing this like this to the neckline. Can you see? Be sewing it to the neckline like this. So I'll bring in my gum stay and then I'll show us what to do. This is my gum stay. I'm going to fold it into two like this. and then bring this face in like this and place it over. So I'm just going to trace out the neckline like this. So once I trace it out like this, I'm going to cut out the shape that I have here. So after doing this, next I'll trim out half of an inch from this gum stay like this. So can you see? So after trimming out my half of an inch, I'm going to place it this way like this. I'm going to be placing right side of the gum stay facing the wrong side of the fabric. Can you see? So this is what I have. So I'm going to now go ahead and fold this part like this. Take note that the part with the gum for the gum stay, that's the shiny part, is the one facing the fabric. Okay. So can you see what it looks like? And this is what we have. Can you see? So you can see I have my gown now, and I also have my hemming gum. So I'm going to place this facing around the neckline like this. And then I'm bringing my hemming gum and place it underneath. So you want to make sure that you are completely hiding your hemming gum under. Mm. So I'm going to place it here. You can see that hair has stopped already. So I'll just place it here. So you can see I've placed the facing around the neckline. So I'm going to take this to my sewing machine and top stitch it around like this. So I'm going to just take it to my sewing machine and top stitch it around like this. After doing that, I'm going to bring in my lining and place it right side, facing right side, and turn the neckline, sew the sides, and then the hem will come back and show us. I've top stitched my facing. Can you see what I have? So it's really coming out very neat. And this is what I have at the back. I've used my lining. I've turned the sides. I've sewn my lining to the sides, and you can see I've turned the sides neatly, and I brought it out from the armhole. I also went ahead to top stitch my seam allowance to the lining. Can you see? So now for my back piece, I've done the same thing for the back piece. I've sewn my darts. Can you see my darts? And I also went ahead to close up my zip allowance. This point is my zip allowance. Remember, I used the zip allowance of 1.5 inches, and I've used half inch to turn my lining, so I'm left with my 1 inch. So can you see, this is where my zip will be starting from. That's from the neckline to 21 inches. This is where my zip is starting from, 22 inches rather. And then you can see I closed up this part. So you can see I stitched this part, and then you can see my slit opening. So next I'm going to go ahead and join the shoulders together. So I've joined my shoulders together, and then this is how I'm going to be joining the shoulders together. So you can see my front piece, I'm holding them together. So I'll pick the fabric of the back piece and place it like this, and then flip the lining to the right side like this. So you see. So I'm going to take this to my sewing machine and stitch the shoulders together. Stitch, and I'll go ahead and fix my basic sleeve and shape this dress, and of course fix my zipper. Then I'll show us what the dress looks like on the mannequin. So we're done with our gown. I fixed the sleeves. Can you see? And I've coupled the gown, and I've also pressed it. This is what it looks like on the back. Can you see my darts are neatly sewn? And then my zipper, I also pressed my zip. So you want to make sure to press your zip from the wrong side. So this just has a way of giving it that relaxed look. Can you see how it is? So we're done with this gown, and everything came out all neat and beautiful. So I'm going to wear it on the mannequin so that we'll see what it looks like. So this is what our gown looks like. It came out really beautiful, and I love the outcome. This gown can be worn as a business casual, a corporate dress. I hope you really enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please like, share, make sure to subscribe, and also put on your notification bell so you get notified once I post a new video. Leave a comment, drop your questions if you have any. Thank you for watching. See you in my next video. Bye and stay safe.